channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Oh, it's going to be one of those great ones we're going to talk about today. Going to help motivate you in a different kind of way. And this one's for all the comic book and role-playing game publishers and even fans who want to understand the business a little bit better and get a better understanding of the background. But before we get started, well, let me tell you the title today, since I just gave that big intro. So the title for today is, what is the best non-traditional things you can do to market your indie comic or RPG? Before we even get into that super early, let me introduce myself. Hello, I am Lewis Porter Jr. Welcome to my channel. This is your first time. So today we're going to talk about probably one of my favorite marketing books of all time. It's in the top 2 at least. This book right here, How to Drive Your Competition Crazy by Guy Kawasaki. I love this book. I bought this book nearly 20 years ago. Yeah, about 20 years ago. And I used so many tactics in that book to drive competitors crazy. And more importantly, gain market share, which basically in turn made me money. So if you don't know anything about marketing, and a lot of people don't, and I mean, this is a great place to start. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the not understanding marketing. So I've been involved with marketing since I was 23 years old. And now at 51, I've had the pleasure of seeing all different types of marketing, from small companies, we're talking small publishing companies, to large corporations, Macy's being like the biggest, I can say. Yeah, Macy's being the biggest. And I've seen how marketing works on very high levels and very low levels, but certain things that don't ever change. And a lot of the information that I used in my career, I used from this book. This book, I mean, Guy Kawasaki, if you don't know anything about Guy, let me give you a quick overview about him. Guy Kawasaki's, I guess his first most prominent job is that he was the marketing director for Apple. That's right. Back in the early 80s, he did a lot of marketing for Apple, and he just talks about how he did it. And look, I love this book. I think it is, if you don't have this book, please pick this book up. I'm going to put a link at the bottom so you can pick it up on Amazon. Please pick this book up. It is, I can tell you how great it is, but I'm going to read some quotes from the book. I tagged them up, so I'm going to go through and read a couple that kind of define what this book's about. Like, here's one. Chapter 1, Mighty Opposites. Make no small enemies, people whom you differ from for some petty, insignificant personal reason. Instead, I would urge you to cultivate mighty opposites, people whom you disagree with on big issues, with whom you'll fight to the end over fundamental and contentious situation. And that fight, I will assure you, will be good for you and your opponent. Yeah, that's very true. I can't say enough great things about that. Yeah, I think your opponent should be people you fundamentally don't like and you don't agree with. It makes it easy for you to fight with them, you know? Tell it like this. I'm a fan of Google. I'm not a fan of Apple. There's nothing Apple could do that would interest me. I like Google more. Google fits more in personality. I think Apple is very pretentious and kind of like asinine, and I can't stand the hoity-toity feel about it. So yeah, there's a great opportunity right there. Here's another one. The role of your competition is to force you to get better, to keep you honest, to give you validity in your industry, and to give you the resistance that you need. If you're lucky, your competitors will be good, smart, and working hard. They're just not pushovers. Oh, that is another one. That's another one. That's another one. That's another important one. If you get pushover opponents, then they're not going to do anything to make you grow. You want someone you can definitely dislike and go after. I think that is beautiful. And it's even better if you really don't like them personally. It makes it even better. It just makes your passion why you want to beat them even more so. The final area to study is your competition's likely responses to your actions or other actions of other companies and changes in the industry. You will need to anticipate how fast your competition will react and what kind of reaction or action they will take. Do you understand that about your competitor? What do you really know about your competitor? What do you know about them? Have you, I think you got to focus on it. How does information get transmitted within your company? Who interprets that data? What drives your competition? Most companies have 1 or 4 goals: gross sales, net profit, ego boosting, or strategic advances. A gross sales-oriented company may sacrifice profits and fight for sales. A net profit-oriented company will only go so far to match the competition. A company run on egos may react violently and uncontrollably. A strategic company may be willing to compete for the long-term position. Also with that, pull a Walton. Pretend you're a customer and see how your competitor markets, sells, and services its products. I know a lot of you aren't doing that. I know that. I know a lot of you aren't. You're just not. It's not something you think about. You're thinking, oh, I'm just thinking my game. It's got to be good for me. No. Listen to what's saying here. Listen to what's going on. It's important. Here's another one. Ask the right questions. Focus on beating the competition instead of focusing on the customer. Inevitably leads to a tit-for-tat combat. Tit-for-tat combat inevitably leads to doing the wrong things for the seemingly right reasons. Now, I've done that. I've gotten involved in a situation where I was trying to do tit-for-tat, and it was the dumbest thing I ever did. And it wasted me time and money. Don't do that. That is an important one. There's just some ones you can just, get some good knowledge. The ramifications of a law of increasing returns are: samples are important. It's better to sow than skim. Beware, parentheses, or exploit the critical event. Get to market quickly, and not just because marketing paranoia. The best products may not necessarily win. This is provide an alternative. So if you are the number 2 company or lower, your decisive point of attack is often dictated by a simple principle: provide an alternative to the leader. You're like, well, wait a minute. What does that work for me? So I'll give you one that I know easily. Wizards of the Coast and Paizo. Paizo was an alternative to D&D. And doing it, they grabbed a great part of the market share when WotC couldn't do anything. Simple, easy, but brilliant. Guidelines for success. Establish your goal. Provide a complete product line. Maintain high quality standards. Create multiple status levels. That's something a lot of people don't do. They always think that you can only be gold. No. How about silver? How about this? You've got to have different levels to this. Balance hard and soft benefits. Keep it simple. Provide unique benefits. What is your unique benefit by buying a comic book? What's your hard and soft benefit? All right, here's a section. It's called Carpe Diem, which is Latin is seize the day. Here's a quote that goes with it. Chapter 13. You should read the entire chapter. This chapter is amazing, but I'm only going to give you a couple things real quick so you can get it and just get to it. Opportunities are seldom labeled. That is so serious. I can't say that hard enough. Oh, oh my goodness. I love that saying. It's like, ooh, people don't notice that. All right, here's one. Serve your competition's customer. How can I serve my competition's customer? So, if you're a comic book company, how can you serve Marvel Comics customers? What do their customers want? I mean, Marvel did it to DC. Characters wanted good stories. They wanted more intriguing stories. They wanted stories that more connected. What can you do to Marvel that would do the exact same thing they did to DC? 60 years ago. Think like that. Where's that little hint? That's something you can go, ooh, I didn't think about that. Here's another little favorite one of mine. Well, there's two of them. Just steal your competitor's thunder. It's a great little write-up on that. I won't talk more about that, but think about it. Steal your competitor's thunder and piggyback on your competitor's efforts. I'll describe this for you so you understand. So, piggybacking on your competitor's efforts is a really great technique to do. And one of the best ones that's ever done by this ad done by Virgin. I'm going to show you the ad real quick. You're not going to be able to read it very well. This one right here. I'm going to read it to you. So I want you to think about how these guys piggybacked on an ad. And this is from Virgin Airlines. It has always been Virgin's policy to encourage you to fly to London for as little as possible. So on June 10th, we encourage you to fly British Airways. As for the rest of the year, we look forward to seeing you on Virgin Atlantic, the best service possible at the lowest fare. See, British Airways was saying they were going to do cheaper flights than Virgin for this one day. It's going to be cheaper than them. And what did Virgin do? They said, hey, talk it up to your customers. Because that's great they're doing it for one day, but Virgin does it all the time. So they got to use I call a little judo, a little marketing judo, and use this tack against British Airlines, who for one day was going to have lower sales. And they hyped up like crazy. And then Virgin was like, yes, please travel in that one day. That's a good deal. You do that. But when it comes up the next day, you know you're going to need to come back to us. Smart ads. It's one of my favorite ads. I just think it's a brilliant way to do business, especially marketing. And, you know, Virgin as a company understands how to do really crazy marketing. If you don't know anything about Virgin, you should definitely read the book Losing My Virginity by Sir Richard Branson. I think it's still available. Now I got to write this in I got to put that one below. It's a great book. It's another one that you'll enjoy. But to understand marketing, pick up this book. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. Most of you guys can't spell marketing correct, let alone do good marketing. So stop acting like you do good marketing, because you don't. A lot of you don't even do the most basic things. Like, number one, I've said it before in other videos, start marketing your book the second you start doing it. A lot of you wait till the book is done and completed, and then you start marketing your book. Market it from day one. The day you get the idea in your head, put it on paper, put it online, say, hey, I'm thinking about doing a new book, and then talk it up till you get it done. Why do you do that? Because the entire time that you're talking it up, you're building a fan base. You're building interest. You're showing people you're doing it. They get to follow you. They get to support you. They get to see, like, oh, yeah, I remember that thing. They was talking about it back in. Oh, yeah, I'm glad it's coming out. You build your fan base over that time. So when you're done and ready to go to press, you've been promoting it for as long as you've been promoting it from the beginning. And it might be months and it might be years. It doesn't matter. If you do it right and you talk about it right, people will support you because they want to know more about it. And that's the smartest thing. All right. So do me a favor, pick this book up. You'll be happy. Comment below what you think about this video. If you have any good comments or bad comments, you know I like them all. Bring me that energy. I like that. So do me a huge favor. Comment. And, of course, subscribe because we're awesome. And I will talk to you all later. Hey, thank you for checking out my channel. Do me a favor. Check out my other videos. And if you like what you see, subscribe.